as special, gifted children, and they will fulfill their potentials in Jesus' name. It's your time to get re-energized. It's your time to be refed. And I'll just pronounce that name that the Lord gave me for the book club. It's called Revivify. Revivify means to reawaken. Revivify means to reginger. Revivify means to, to come back to life. And I can say to you that on this journey of raising a child on the spectrum, you will need that. You will need some time where you need to be reawakened. You will need some time where you need to be a lot of people think it's a learning disorder. It's not a learning disorder. Sometimes some children might have some learning difficulty associated with it. It is not a learning disorder. It's a neurodevelopmental disorder. It's a big spectrum, meaning that if you put 5 women together that have got 5 different children on the spectrum, their symptoms might not really be similar, other than 1 or 2 things. As we all know, I want to believe you are very aware of the 3 kind of domain where most of the children fall, where one of them is difficulty with communication, which is the speech. There's difficulty with social interaction. There is difficulty with sometimes with behavior and their actions, and you realize that they have repetitive behavior, repetitive actions, and and those are the kind of the 3 main domains. Does it mean that there are no other signs and symptoms that you notice? There are several, and that's why it's called the spectrum. It's a big one. I'm just thinking of the best ways to start. Maybe let me start with my story. So I think for me, was born. I remember, everything was fine. When it was about 16 months, I was pregnant again for the second one. So by the time the second baby was on our way, he was at that stage where you expect that he should be talking. So I remember I had a baba. I remember I'd had a mama, and I was excited. I was writing all those milestones down. Yeah, and I remember I had heard something like, uh, jeje. So initially we thought it was jeje meant food. That's what we thought, And so I am sure we heard those words. And then the sister came, and then everything just shut down. So initially we were thinking it was the birth of a new child, and that it was reacting to a new baby in the home, because no words came after that. As at that time it was 2.5, 3. And, I knew something was wrong. My husband was saying, no, 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 that is just reacting to the baby. All the people around us were saying, no, 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 it's just reacting to the baby. And then I realized he would be pulling my clothes when he needed something. And, I tried to make him speak and say what it was, but no way. As at that time, I was excited that he loved Mickey Mouse. I was really excited I was in love with Mickey Mouse, not knowing that that was a major, major challenge. And the only thing he will play with, if there are 20 toys in that room, the only thing he will focus on was the Mickey Mouse. And I was so excited that all I was doing was buying everything Mickey Mouse. So I'll get the Mickey Mouse bag, I'll get the Mickey Mouse bottle, I got Mickey Mouse toys. I'm telling you, I got to the point I became a shareholder on Disney, all for Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse shoes, Mickey Mouse, pajamas, everything Mickey Mouse. And then I think it was some few months later, I just realized that it's only Mickey Mouse we're dealing with in this house. And, if we go into any store, if you're not holding him very tight enough, he'll disappear. Yes, it was indeed a Mickey Mouse baby. We still make fun of him even till now. He'll just disappear. He will loosen his hold on your hand and he will disappear. And I think then we were in UK, so we were in Manchester, and there was this very big, massive shop, Trafford Center, and you just disappear. And then the place is just too big. You start chasing him, and before you know it, he's gone. Guess where we usually end up finding him? The Disney store. Under one, I'm telling you, under one of the aisles there, Mickey Mouse. So we'll drag him, we'll carry him, and we just thought he was just being a child. And until later, I also now realized, and I'll talk about that as I keep speaking. So, of course, the minute he started doing that, I thought, oh, maybe we're just enjoying Mickey Mouse life in this home. That's how I started the other one, Minnie Mouse for the sister, not even knowing that I was yeah. So we had Mickey Mouse, we had Minnie Mouse. And so I really thought, okay, with time, then you will kind of be playing with a bit of the Minnie Mouse and all that. No way. It was just, and I don't know if you're picking what I'm trying to say here. So it was focused on one thing, and it was happy to play on his own in a corner. It wasn't interested in interacting. It was fine on his own. Even at that time, even for both of us that were medics, we thought it was just being like the dad. He said he was a quiet baby. He was a quiet boy. He just loves his own space. And we left him for some time until he was about 3.5. And then I think someone said to me, I think it's important that you allow him to go. I think it was one of the doctors that we initially saw. Um, and the person said, I think it's important that you let him start creche now so that we can see how he interacts with other children. We had loads of cousins, nieces, and nephews. So, they come to the house. So I really thought it was in the midst of a lot of children playing. But it was later when we started to talk to them, they started to share with us that no, he loves his corner. He stays in his corner with the Mickey Mouse, and it was fine there. So we started from the first creche. I remember paying for the crash, and I think it was 3 or 4 weeks later. The lady in charge called me, and because then I had resumed work, called me and was like, she's really sorry. She thinks there's a problem, and I was like, what problem? And she was like, I'm not sure. He doesn't listen. He's not listening to us. When we all tell them to do something, he does something else. He goes to play with the toy even when it's not yet toy time. So they have a plan and routine, and just goes to the toy section and is happy to just sit down alone. So I was thinking, okay, should we try something else? Maybe if you just talk to him a little in a nice way. Now, remember, it was the only, I don't know if we have other races here, but it was the only black there. So initially I was thinking, oh, maybe he's just not comfortable not seeing other black children and all that. So I was giving all the excuses in this world apart from coming to realization about what it really was. And for me, just having a child go to crèche was enough so that I could focus on my focus, which was work as at that time, you know. And I remember a week after, the woman called me and said she's very happy to return all the money I had paid for the last month. And usually you put a deposit, and that, but she doesn't think she can cope with him. Ha. That was the beginning of our rejection, of our journey of rejection. Um, and I just thought, oh no, she's just being racist. She's just this and that. And of course, I collected my money. I collected the deposit. I took my child. I went to look for another creche. In short, we went round like 3 or 4, 5 creches before it dawned on me that there was a major problem. And I think that was when we had to now sit down, like, what is really happening? In fact, we paid for a private, I remember the private school in Coventry that we paid for. We're also excited. We had been looking forward to this school. And I think one of those days, my son had to tap the teacher to call for our attention. And another child that saw him tapping the teacher because he wasn't speaking, but rather he would use hands to, maneuver, actually went home to report to our own mom that, oh, I saw he mentioned my son's name, and she said, I think he hit the teacher. And trust some mothers, she came to school and she was a big row with the head teacher, like, oh no, my child doesn't feel comfortable being in a class where a boy is hitting the teacher. And the teacher said, no, he didn't hit me, he only pulled me. But once you start that, the school had to call me and say, we're really so big private school, we're really so sorry, but we don't want our other children to start feeling a little bit. And I was thinking, uncomfortable for this small child. How old is he? 4 plus. I mean, which one is uncomfortable in this matter? Like, why will you tell me to take this child away? Because one child felt bad. And the head teacher was like, I'm really so sorry. The PTA, and that's another thing I started to understand about PTA groups. I started to understand about parental groups within school. I remember saying to Abiola, you are not just your child's advocate. You are out there to fight for your child. You are your child's fighter. And then I started to learn that I also have to be on the table. I mean, as the mother of a child with autism, I have to make myself available on that table. Wherever any mother is speaking, I have a right to also speak, and I must not shy away from doing that because I think my child has got special needs. Special needs or no special needs, that child is valuable.